All right, guys, welcome back to the Multiverse. Um, did want to point out that we now have on our Discord, people are sharing videos from uh, the Asian Coalition, from the Middle Eastern Coalition, and uh, and then we did have another perspective on the European Coalition, um, but uh, unfortunately, General Power of Us did have a family emergency that he needed to take care of. He's still going to, play the game with his mobile, but he won't be able to cast games. But I love that. I love that there's multiple people who are stepping up and kind of sharing the perspective of their part of the world, and it's really helping me to understand better what's going on. My understanding over here, one of the biggest threats. Uh, yeah, let's see who. China. China is his name. Dang it, that's confusing. Although Sichuan is part of China, so there you go. 54 countries. That's sizable, not bad at all. Um, and Lord Easygoing, I love it. Is down here, and these are people who have shared map with me, so they're not in that Eastern Coalition. My understanding is that China is going to be a big problem for that Eastern Coalition. Here we go. The Transverse. Transverse. I did not know. I thought the Transverse was sort of the. No, I guess the Transverse is the. Yep. Ooh, Chinese Federal Republic. What? No, no. Team AFK. Yeah, aren't we all? Jesus Christ. Oh yeah. So I know 50 cal is. Yeah. Here we go. Now we're back in the Transverse. Yeah. So and Clapping Cheeks has taken over all of Japan. These two guys are good players. Alpha Wolf. Don't recognize that name. So, and I do think these guys kind of spread out a little bit. There are other people in the Transverse that are kind of far away. Do we have people all the way? Oh man, Tom Miller has dropped out. No, I think what I'm thinking is we did have some people over here. North African dominance. Oh, Saharaverse. Yeah, Tom Miller was part of the Saharaverse. That's what I'm thinking. They started over here in East Africa and also in West Africa. But anyway, it's cool to see all these different videos. Now, the reason that I'm sharing this video right now, I normally wouldn't, but it's 1:30 in the morning my time. But we have a huge decision to make. So we've had a lot of drama down here with this Captain Phoebo here. And you can see our most powerful player here is Popcat, who has 91 territories. So he's really been dominating up the coast here. And that's a lot of territory. So you look at me, I've got, I think, 40 or something, 46, you know. But this guy down here has been a sort of a somebody to keep an eye on. So early on, let me give you the history on this. Early on, Papa Smitty reached out to him because Papa Smitty, he plays smart. And one of the things you do if you play smart is you look at the map, and you really start to try to kind of come to terms with who is around you. And he absolutely did that. And I'm not going to go into how far he went with that, but let me just say his techniques are far-reaching. So he was able to glean a lot of information using his techniques, and really early on identified that this guy, first of all, if you look at him, he is a level 19 plus, right? So after a while, you just stop gaining levels. So I don't know, what would that be? Level 23, 24. So he noticed that right away. He also noticed the size. He was expanding more quickly than anyone else, really, with a couple exceptions on the map. And so Papa Smitty reached out to him early on and said, hey, we would rather not go up against you, because he knew that we had, teams that were moving down into Spain. And one of the things that Papa Smitty says, well, hey, I offered him into our coalition. And I had to tell Papa Smitty, well, I'm sorry, man, but I've already offered, I've already promised the next slot to this guy, Jack Dillon. And you may notice that Jack Dillon is not with us. He's gone. It's maybe hard to see, but it does have the little box behind the guy over there. He's gone. Um, so I did go ahead, a position did open up, and I went ahead and gave it to Jack Dillon, honoring my word. And then all this stuff kind of happened at once. So the first thing that happened was, all of a sudden, Mighty Benaiah and Captain Phoebo were at war. And so you can see I've got a lot of troops that are moving down in that direction, because, hey, my coalition is under attack. So I'm moving down, guys. I think I moved down about 90 infantry and maybe 12 cannon or something like that, nine or 10 cannon. Anyway, I figured, hey, if all of us do that, then we're going to be in a good position. You can see also that everyone really, I was very happy. Everyone answered the clarion call. So Popcat answered the call, Zinzin answered the call, and Benaiah was like, yeah, let's do this. So I have no question in my mind what would have happened with four of us, and especially Popcat's got a lot of stuff to throw around. He's been very populous, like lots of territories for a long time, and that just means every day that passes, you get more and more infantry, and it's one of those snowballing effects that the more you have, the more infantry you get, the more you can conquer. And so he's been riding that train. So he's coming down with a bunch of stuff. I'm coming down with a bunch of stuff, and Zinzin was coming back with a bunch of stuff. And so I have no question in my mind that Captain Phoebo would have been defeated. But then Popcat DMs me and says, hey, and I didn't know this at the time, but he DMs me and says, hey, did you know that, our friend here, Jack Dillon, is AFK? And I'm like, no, I did not know that. And that is very frustrating to me. It doesn't look like he has a lot of stuff here, but he's got some stuff here, He's got a cannon here. I mean, look, a few people have done it right. Okay, a few people have left the game and yeeted their troops out to the ocean, or even better, really better than yeeting them out into the ocean, is attack some random enemy. That way your troops die, but they die killing, future enemies of the coalition. So again, I will always give the benefit of the doubt, because we don't know what's going on in Jack's life, and things happen, man. And so we know life is hard. So I'm not going to disrespect him, but I am going to continue to harp on just like for future reference, like if you can, come back in the game, get it out of the archives, dust it off, and, use your guys and attack them into something, go ahead, go and attack them. And what I would do is I'd gather all of them and just like literally attack like over here somewhere, so that on the way you go to war with everybody until all of your troops are dead. Right. And then also, really the best way to do this is to go ahead and turn off all of your recruiting centers as well. So, you can click on this guy, the recruiting center. Let me do it on my own here. And you can disable it, which means that no infantry will develop there to potentially thwart your allies coming in and taking over your territories. So this is particularly frustrating because I don't blame Jack. He got thwarted early on, and sometimes that just happens. Like sometimes circumstance shuts you down, and that's also what happened to the Power of Us here. Dijon, which is actually Burgundy. Both of these guys got shut down early on by some stiff resistance, and just some bad luck, really. But if Jack had left correctly, then we could have gotten the Power of Us in here and stacked onto his territory, and really, those two could have brought the Power of Us back into the game fully. And we might still explore how we can do that, how we could possibly do that. You can see right now, I've devoted one cannon specifically to clearing out territories here so that Power of Us can get that acreage back that we talked about. That is crucial when you get shut down early on and you've only got 7 or 8 territories. It's hard to get any traction. Like we said, it's that snowball effect that we saw up here with Popcat. Once you get rolling and you've got a lot of territories and you're just generating a lot of men, then you sort of have this conquest machine that sort of self powers. But if it gets shut down early, it's very, very difficult. So one of the things we can talk about is maybe, I don't know how we could do it, but I would love to help Power of Us here occupy Jack Dillon's land. And I don't know what that would look like, but I would love for us to transfer power over to him of these territories. So again, I really don't know what that would look like, but here's the thing: Power of Us doesn't give up. He's not a quitter, so he's going to be in this game no matter what. So I feel like, hey, let's give him a leg up. Let's help him out a little bit. So anyway, our conundrum right now is: do we invite Spain into our coalition? Because he is, a power to be reckoned with. No matter what happens, and as I said, I think we can take him. I'm pretty sure we can take him, but it would be painful. Let's put it that way. It would be painful. And I do know that Papa Smitty wants to attack down into Africa, and I know that Spain also wants to attack down into Africa, which is going to be really maybe one of our first friction points with the other coalitions in the game. And so we'll see what happens there. Yeah, this is Saharaverse. This is also Saharaverse here. Yep, Finley. Yep, also Saharaverse. So these three, and then there's a couple over here. And sorry to see Tom Miller gone. That's a name I know well, have seen before in other games. He was part of the Saharaverse. And he's still, he is. What am I saying? It's because he's not blue. I'm an idiot. So he is part of the Saharaverse. I'm like, if you're not blue and I can't see you, then you're AFK. No, that's dumb. Tom Miller is still in the game. Sorry, guys. I'm an idiot. I just can't see anything because of Fog of War. But I can see some because Sir Tandoom has shared vision with me. And potentially, I guess he's not part of any coalition yet, but he can opt in at any time. I thought he was part of the Saharaverse, but I'm not sure what's going on over there. But again, there's lots of strategies in this game. Some, I know that the NOAP over here, they were holding off. They were leaving some slots available so that they can be flexible as they move into the middle game. So lots of strategies here. So anyway, this video, the reason I'm casting this video is what to do about Spain. So what I do know is that Benaiah had a couple of negative interactions with him. And the thing is, like, I've been on both sides of that, I've had people kind of bite my head off for no reason or, call me names. What did I get called? Just a game recently, I got called a whore. And it was like this guy reached out to me and he's like, hey, can we work together? And I was like, yeah, okay, maybe. And then he just depopulated his border. This is like day 1 or day 2, honestly, like early in the game. He depopulated his whole border. And I'm like, well, we're not that good of friends. Like, what are you doing? Like, he didn't follow up with right of way. He didn't follow up with shared map. He didn't, I actually had a coalition. He didn't join the coalition. I think he just was like, hey. And so I was like, man, look, you know what? You cannot dangle, a tenderloin steak in front of a dog's snout. He's gonna snuff it up. And that's what I did. I went ahead and attacked him, and man, he was pissed. He just went all butthurt. He called me a whore. I was like, wow, I've never been called a whore before. You know what? It's not wrong. Yeah, I do like the ladies. I do like the sexual activity, I gotta admit. Now, of course, I'm married to a wonderful, wonderful woman, and I'm very happily monogamous, but I've done my whoring. I've done my share of whoring around in my day. But it's like, wow, I love it. Anyway, So anyway, what I'm saying is I've been on both sides of that salty conversation because I've been butthurt. You know, I'm a pretty easygoing guy, um, but this one game, my two coalition mates, it turns out they're in the same house together. Like as things flesh out, it turns out they're in the same house together, which is not cheating, but it's like, oh, that's a huge advantage. All of a sudden they turned on me and attacked me, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you know, I'm a 20 plus level player. I'm I promise you I'm better on your side as an independent, player. And the thing is we went back and forth. But early on I was pissed. I was like, you guys are douchebags. But anyway, so all of that is to say that I think there's been a little bit of vitriol, a little bit of salty interaction between these two. And what I did say to Benaiah was like, well, you accidentally attacked him, which believe me, I've done several times. And it's kind of one of the things I wish we could figure out in this game, because if two expanding countries are coming together and finding a shared border, there's a decent chance that you're going to overlap and accidentally attack somebody. Now, Benaiah, I know, is a level-headed guy. He's a cool guy. So I know he didn't attack the dude or come at him. So apparently, Spain was salty, but I don't automatically hate someone for being salty when I accidentally attack them. So I don't know. What I did was I went ahead on to our Discord and put out in the Multiverse Europe thread, just what do you guys think? So I'm waiting now for intel to come back. Popcat was the one that sort of brought this whole thing to my attention, because honestly, we were swarming down to invade Spain. That was the plan. But then all of a sudden, uh, who is this? Jack. Yeah, all of a sudden, Jack drops out. And now all of a sudden, we have a slot available, which technically, because I promised Jack the next slot. He was like, okay, I'll hang out here if you can promise me that I'm the next of it. And I was like, yeah, I got you. And then, so when Papa Smitty promised, and he didn't promise, but he kind of dangled that carrot for Spain that he could come into our coalition. I just told Smitty, I was like, well, who knows what the future may hold, but I've got to let Jack in next. So it is kind of serendipitous. It is sort of maybe things are coming together in a specific way, because he drops out exactly when we're about to go to war with someone who has already been promised a spot in our coalition. So I don't know, man. I don't know. But what I am doing, and this is what I mentioned in my sort of announcement to my coalition, is everyone has had interactions with Spain, or at least three or four of us have. And so I want everyone to weigh in, because each interaction is intelligence. It's intel on Spain. I don't know anything about him. I sent him a message and proposed the idea of him joining us, but I've not heard back from him. So I have no intel on his personality, what kind of guy he is at all. So I'm going to heavily rely on Benaiah and Papa Smitty to come back with me, because here's the thing. I've allowed outsiders into alliances, and it was a terrible idea. If you go to another 500, we've talked about this on this channel. I've talked about this many times because I'm super butthurt about it. We invited two guys in from sort of in the Indian area, India, and one was Bombay and the other, can't remember what he was, what countries they were. But the first thing that happened was the one guy lets a country I'm at war with right of way through his territory and kills my Air Force. And it was a huge Air Force. I was so proud of that Air Force. It was like 20 bombers, 20 fighters. Now, I didn't get real butthurt about that, because I was like, okay, they've been in this region this whole time. This is where they started the game. And so you reach out and you give AI right of way. It's part of what you do. So I'm not mad, right? Then the other guy allows our main adversary, the person we'd been talking about, the giant in Europe is what it was, because we were coming in from Australia, but we'd taken over most of Asia, and we were heading west. And he allows the main enemy to right of way through his land and destroy my stack. And so, short story long, the reason the reason that you have to be cautious about taking on new allies is that you have not come up with them. You have not started the game with them, and so they have their own sort of regional connections and stuff that you have to be really careful about. And I would just say, as a footnote to that, be careful if you do have a regional ally. Make sure and ask them. And this is, I learned it the hard way. But so I attacked through him to this other country, and then I went to sleep because I was like, okay, this, I've got all my ducks in a row, and he can't get to my air force because I'm behind. I'm, a couple territories back, and my friend had a stack of troops there that were more than enough to defend my air force. When I woke up, my air force was dead. I was like, what happened? So don't ever forget that your ally could have right of way with somebody. So if you're going into that situation, what I should have done is, as soon as I attacked through his country into the other country, I should have immediately messaged him and said, hey, if you've got right of way with this guy, turn it off, because I'm going to war with him. And you do not want your allies to have right of way with somebody who you are going to war with. So anyway, that's a potential threat. I don't think it's as much of a threat here because we're still rather early in the game here in the multiverse. We are on day 16, and he is in our region, more or less, right? And there's nothing but AI around him. So if I know Benaya, if we make peace with Spain, Benaya is going to go ahead and conquer. Oh, Spain wrapped him. Did Spain completely wrap him? Well, maybe we can work something out with him. No, that's Castile here. So, yeah, so Benaya can potentially still. Ooh, no, he's about to take Castile altogether. Yeah, well, I mean, I guess the thing is, if Spain is an ally, then Benaya can go ahead and conquer through him into here. But again, we have to be conscious of all these things: expansion and being blocked in. All that stuff matters. There's a lot of stuff going into this decision. I will say now, let's go ahead and look. I shouldn't have done that. But we are still in first place, even with 6 out of 7 players, by quite a long stretch here, about 3 times more than the next coalition. And of course, you can see that of the top 5, 4 of them are subscriber groups. So let's go ahead and go over to coalitions and arrange them by. Here we go. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Yeah, we've got a couple of decent options here. Central Hungary has 40. I went and researched him. He's the next guy technically in line. He has about 41, 42 provinces. So that's not bad. It's about what I've got, frankly. So we have other options. We don't have to allow Spain. But I don't know why I clicked off of that. Let's go ahead and look at the coalitions here, sorted by province here. And so here we are at the universe. This number, if we let Spain in, would become 355-ish. 355. That's a lot. That's a lot. And so we'll see what happens. I'm curious. And then I will go ahead and add this extra bit of possibility, is that there has been rumors that that this guy is using gold marks. And so I'll tell you, man, if you've got a guy using gold marks, you kind of want him on your side. At least you don't want him against you, right? So that's another consideration too. So it's like if somebody's willing to spend gold marks, well, you come in with your battleships, and then they make bombers, because bombers counter battleships really well. And when you gold mark, you just make them. Here they are, boom, here we go. Instead of waiting the 4 days or 3 days or whatever that normal people have to do. So a lot of stuff going into this decision, but this is exactly the kind of intrigue that I love about a 500 player game. Okay, here we are over here. We got Harkold, who is definitely a subscriber, active player. He's actually dominating the heck out of the new subscriber game, where he's sort of leading this absolutely insane European coalition that at this point rules the world. Jebediah here, let's see. Oh, okay. Jebediah's in the Beavers. So he must have shared map with me before he joined that coalition, which you can do. Oh, Harkold. By the way, if you are watching this, go ahead and share a map with me, maybe. Well, unless you don't want people, because you know I'm casting this. Yeah, you might want your secrecy. I don't know. Here's Biden, who's one of our guys as well, and he's in the multiverse here, North America. So we do have some North American members. Very interesting. What I will say to anybody who's watching this game, no matter what coalition you are, we are no longer insisting that you take subscribers. Okay, if the subscribers haven't shuffled into your coalition yet, then absolutely reach out to whoever you want. You may have verbal agreements with people, and that's fine. But what I'm trying to say is that in the past, we really tried to make sure that we went by the order of application. But the reason we did that is we only had one coalition. And so we relieved that pressure by having 5 coalitions in this game. So there's so many coalitions. There's 35 possible positions that subscribers could be in. And so there's no reason to, let's put it this way, make bad gaming decisions because we want to make sure we give priority to subscribers, right? So, hey, the next guy in order has 12 territories, but here's a guy with 70 territories that we could reach out to, but we can't because he's not a subscriber. No, there's none of that in this game. This game, we started it within the subscriber community, and then we're going to expand outwards in whatever way we want, right? So every coalition has autonomy, can do what they want, and just according to whatever moral compass / strategy you have. So, all right. That's about it, guys. I've been rambling for way too long, but great stuff going on here. Very interesting stuff. I think my preference is I would love to get Spain to join and move all my troops back over here and keep on a conquering. Just keep on moving eastward here. That would be my preference. That would be my preferred happenstance. All right. Anyway, thanks, guys, for checking in. I'll see y'all next time. Adios, amigos.